I just spent the last week in Montana filming 7 short films in 7 days. And I'm not going to lie to you, it was one of the most exhausting things I've done in a long time. But it was also one of the most eye-opening, because what I thought this week was going to be, and actually what it was, are two completely different things. From the outside, it sounds exciting, creative, fast-paced, fun. And it was those things. But what people don't see is what it takes to actually show up for something like that. Every single day, with no reset button, no extra time, no we'll fix it later. You show up or it doesn't happen. My name is Lisa Pink Matsky, and this is Real Talk with Pink. Let me really take you into this for a second, because I think people imagine filmmaking as this controlled environment, like everything is planned, everything is organized, everything goes smoothly. But when you're doing 7 films in 7 days, there is no control. There's no perfect setup, and there's no safety net. It's constant movement, constant adjustment, and constant pressure. And you feel it every single day. There is no perfect time. That's lesson 1. And the first thing this experience forced me to realize is that there's no moment where everything lines up and you suddenly feel completely ready. No perfect energy. No perfect conditions. And no perfect timing. And I think a lot of people live their lives waiting for that moment. Waiting until things calm down. Waiting until they feel more confident. Or waiting until everything makes sense. But what I saw this week is that moment never comes. You either start or you stay stuck. A personal truth, and I've done that. I've waited. I've told myself, I'll do this later. I'll start when things feel better. I'll start when I'm ready. But being out here, there was no later. There was no waiting. You either showed up or you got left behind. And that hits different when you're actually in it. Lesson 2, pressure reveals everything. There's something else that I saw that stuck with me this week. And when things are easy, everyone looks calm. Everyone looks confident. Everyone looks like they have it together. But when things start going wrong, when time is running out, when people are tired, that's when you see the truth. You see who adapts, and you see who shuts down. You see who steps up, and you see who blames. You see who leads. And that's not just filmmaking. That's life. And there were moments where you could feel it shift. Energy changes fast under pressure. And I found myself watching that. Not judging. Just noticing. Because it tells you a lot about people. And it tells you a lot about yourself. Lesson 3. There is no time to overthink when you're moving fast. You don't get to sit with decisions. You don't get to question everything. And you don't get to wait until you feel sure. You just move. You adjust. And you figure it out in real time. And honestly, that's something most people aren't used to. Because we live in a world where where overthinking is normal, where hesitation feels safe. But being out here showed me something different. Sometimes you don't need more time. You just need to move. And I know this just isn't about filmmaking. I know some of you feel this in your own life, where you're stuck in your head, thinking, waiting, trying to figure everything out before you act. And what this showed me is that's not where growth happens. Growth happens when you move. Lesson 4. Done is better than perfect. And this one hit me harder than I expected. Because when you have only one day, perfection is not an option. You don't get to tweak everything. You don't get to make it flawless. You just get it done. And you move on. And that forces you to let go of control. To let go of perfection. To let go of needing everything to be exactly right. And just say, this is enough. And that's hard. Especially if you're someone who overthinks. A deeper truth, because perfection feels safe. It feels like control. But it can also keep you stuck. And being out here showed me that. Progress matters more than perfection. Every time. Lesson 5, the moments in between. Not everything was intense. There were moments in between, small ones, where people were laughing, where things felt light, where it didn't feel like pressure. And those moments mattered more than I expected, because they reminded me life isn't just the hard parts. It's also those small moments in between. And if you don't notice them, you miss a lot. And that's something I really want this channel to reflect. Yes, we talk about serious things, truth, accountability, hard conversations. But life isn't just that. There has to be balance. There has to be a space for joy, too. Lesson 6, you don't need to be ready. And this might be the biggest one. You don't need to be ready to start. Because out here, no one was fully ready. Things were changing constantly. Hi, kitty. Nothing was perfect. But people still showed up. They still created. They still moved forward. And that's the truth. You don't wait until you're ready. You start. And I didn't understand this before. Not really. I thought movement came after clarity. Like you figure everything out first. And then you move. Boy, was I wrong. It's the opposite. Moment creates clarity. Movement creates clarity. Clarity comes after. Clarity shows up in the middle of chaos, in the moments where you don't feel sure, in the moments where things aren't working, in the moments where you're questioning everything. That's where it happens. Not before. Momentum is messy. Momentum isn't pretty. It's not clean. It's not controlled. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. It's showing up when you don't feel ready. And I think people underestimate that. Confidence is built. Confidence doesn't come first. Action does. Confidence comes after. Because every time you show up, you build proof. And that proof becomes confidence. Everyone is figuring it out. And this was probably the most freeing realization. That everyone is figuring it out. Even the people who look confident. Even the ones who look experienced. And especially the ones who seem like they know exactly what they're doing. They're still adapting. Still learning. Still adjusting. And that takes the pressure off. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up. So if you're watching this, and there's something you've been putting off, something you've been waiting to start, something you're unsure about, take this as your sign. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need everything figured out. You don't need permission. You just need to start. Because once you start, everything else starts to move. And that's where the magic happens. This is Real Talk with Pink. Truth, accountability, real life. And I'll see you in the next one.